Hello, and welcome to the Place to SOAR, where our motto is Step Out and Redesign You. Our mission is to help you soar as high as you want to. This is my friend, Gail Talaferro. My name is Anita Russell, and we are the co-hosts for the Place to SOAR. And I'm very glad that you were able to join us for this particular episode. We have a really fantastic woman here with us today as our guest. And her name is Jessica Leitchweisz, and she is the founder and owner of a successful podcast and women's empowerment company. I like the sound of that. Changing Minds Online. Jessica's vision for the world is that all women are empowered and inspired to create the life of their dreams by finding and living in their purpose. An interesting fact about Jessica, which when I read this, I was like, wow, is that Jessica is running 30 marathons this year in honor of turning 30. Wow, we're going to have to talk about that.
Yeah.
Jessica is also the CEO and owner of Toxic to Exotics, through which she provides health and wellness coaching. She is passionate about helping people experience life in their ideal bodies. So before we jump into that, I'm going to go back and I'm going to read our SOAR values. Our values have changed a little bit, perhaps since the last time you heard them. So vision and purpose, life transitions, managing relationships, community and family, fun, freedom, and fulfillment, personal economy, integrated life coaching and personal development, the writer's edge, travel adds value, and legacy. So when I presented this list to Jessica, I told her to pick one or two that resonate with her, but her response was, well, they all resonate with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
they were a great list of values.
Yeah, I'm just so excited and very happy to have you here. So why don't you begin by telling us a little bit that's not in your bio, a little bit, and maybe even start with that 30 marathons.
Wow, thank you. Yeah. You know, it's amazing for me. I just believe so much in the power of God that lives in us and the ability that we have to really do anything. And, you know, one of the things I don't often share publicly, and if we're going to jump into it, I'll just jump right into it, is that, you know, I do have a certain medical issues, and they have progressed. It's a progressive disorder. I was born with it. And as I've gotten older, they've started to progress a little bit worse, and I started to develop tumors on the nerves of my feet. So when I went to my doctor and I had MRIs and they showed me the results, she said, you know, it's not really looking good. You could be okay, but there's also the possibility by 30 you could not be able to use your foot. You might not be able to walk on your foot. And I had told her, I said, well, not only am I going to be walking, but I'm going to be running.
All right.
And I told her, by 30, I'm going to run 30 marathons.
Wow.
And I had just finished my very first marathon at that time. And, you know, 29 marathons in 18 months. I actually didn't believe myself when I said it. And I couldn't believe that I made that declaration on my podcast as well. So a lot of people heard it. And I just, you know, I realized that when there's something that you want and you want to go after it, that the greatness inside of us, I believe that there's greatness in every one of us, and that greatness is God. And that everything in this world has to bow, that there's nothing external, there's nothing in our bodies that doesn't have to bow, you know, when we have the power of Christ within us, and when we're working from that place of source and power, when we're in alignment with that and who He is, you know, there's absolutely nothing we can't do. And I've taken on this 30 marathons by 30. And I've actually, the funny part about it is that halfway through my journey, I said, this is actually too easy. I've switched to ultra marathons.
Oh,
so
wow.
a lot of the marathons I'm running are 50Ks or 40-mile or 50-mile races. And next weekend, actually, November 15th, will mark the 1-year anniversary of my very first marathon. And it will be my 12th marathon. I'm running my 12th marathon.
Wow.
Thank you. Yeah, on the 1-year anniversary.
Awesome.
Thank you. So I'm really excited. I have my full schedule planned out. I'm going to be doing 10 marathons in the 10 days leading up to my birthday. And
wow.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm super excited about it. You know, one of the things that I believe is that, you know, when Jesus died on the cross, his very last words were tetelestai, it is finished.
Yes.
And to me, you know, with that, what I take that in my life is that every obstacle is finished. You know, it doesn't matter what it is, that when he died, when he was resurrected, that he lives within us, and that we can do anything. You know, anything we want, we can do. So, you know, in my heart, of course, there's, you know, I have doubts about these 30 marathons, and everyone I meet tells me that I'm crazy, and I know that that's true, but it doesn't matter because God lives in me, so I can do it anyway.
That's okay. So. That's okay. We all go through different issues and things in our lives where people look at you like you're crazy, but when you're being directed by God, and you get to that point in your life where you know you're being directed by God and you just sit back and let Him direct you, that's when incredible things can really begin to happen in your life. And I'm so excited for you to be doing these marathons.
Thank you.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about, I'm going to make sure I got it right, Changing Minds Online.
Yes, Changing Minds Online. You know, this was an amazing, amazing kind of journey with Changing Minds Online. Mm-hmm. And it kind of goes a step back. So I got, you know, involved with a network marketing company, and I absolutely became very obsessed with personal development.
Yes,
I just loved it. So, you know, what I was excited most, you know, I loved the company, I loved the history, I loved the products. But what I was excited most was to be around people that had this different mindset, a different way of thinking that I had never ever heard about. You know, I had been doing okay. You know, I was living in New York and I had a okay job and I was doing well for myself, you know, but I wasn't really happy. I wasn't living at my full potential. And in my specific career path I had chosen, by the age of 24, I hadn't maxed out what I could make in my career. And I was thinking, like, how can my life end this way? I mean, I can't have reached my pinnacle of success in my mid-20s. And I knew there was something more I wanted to do, but I had absolutely no idea what that meant or how to go about it. So when I first, you know, heard of this idea that I could create my life by design, the idea of abundance versus scarcity, that I actually had a say in the outcome. It wasn't just fate or chance, that I actually got to control and create my life. I became obsessed with it. And I became obsessed with personal development. I actually taught myself to listen to audiobooks on fast forward, just because I wanted to read more. I know some people do speed reading. You know, as I was running, I was driving in my car, so I just listened to audiobooks on fast forward. I was averaging 1, 2, sometimes 3 books in a day. And I got a Bluetooth speaker. I took my personal development everywhere, my mobile university, and I had it everywhere that I went. It went in the shower with me. It went everywhere. I was getting dressed. I was listening to audiobooks. And I was absorbing and learning everything. And what I found more than anything else was that, you know, when your mindset changes, when you change your life, the first thing that has to change is your mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it was interesting, and it was, so I went to this seminar, this sales training seminar, and they taught us how to do a social media campaign for your network marketing business. Mm-hmm. And I learned to write this very generic message and just blast it out to everybody. So I wrote this perfect message that I paid all this money to go to the seminar to learn how to write this message. Yeah. And I sent it to one person, and then I forget what happened. I got busy. Something happened, the phone rang, and I never got to send it out to anybody else. But that one person responded. Okay. And she and I started talking, and I learned very quickly in this seminar to move it offline as quickly as possible. Mm-hmm. So we started talking on the phone, and we had decided by the time that the conversation was over, we decided to do something together, to collaborate. So this is when Google Hangout first came out. I didn't know how to use it. I couldn't figure it out. She was very tech oriented. I wasn't. So we decided we were going to do a podcast, and she set up this platform for us to do a podcast, a talk. And we did it. We had a lot of fun, and then we did it again because we enjoyed it so much, and we did it again and again and again. Before we knew it, we had put up a website together and said, like, let's just keep doing this.
Right.
Now, I wasn't looking at the numbers, and I don't know if she was at the time, but it turns out we were getting some really big attraction to our podcast. We were on iTunes. They had featured our podcast for a little while, and within our first month, we were, hitting numbers of 1,000 people looking at our site almost every day.
Wow.
Which was really cool.
That's where I want to be.
Yeah, exactly, right? So we had that going on for us, and so I had never met this person online. I said, let's do this officially. And we, within 6 months, we had never met. We put together a company called Changing Minds Online. We got an EIN number. We became an LLC. We published 2 books together before we finally met on New Year's Eve in Times Square, which was really cool, a really fun experience. And to this day, we have now 4 published books, and we've met once. So it just really shows that when you are on the path and you're living within your purpose, when you're committed to your vision, that you can really create anything, and that just God puts what you need, whatever is required for you to create and manifest whatever it is that you're in alignment with, that it just shows up. And it's amazing because, I fell into this. I'm an accidental entrepreneur, but it's almost 2 years now. We're going strong, and I'm just excited. We're touching thousands of lives every day, and it's really a phenomenal place to be. I'm super excited and grateful that, for this experience.
Nice.
And and I like how you said it first began with changing your mindset and really transforming your life and molding it the way you want to go. And personal development, it's very important because first you have to understand and realize that you're lacking in something. See, before all these, tapes and books came out, when I first started my personal development journey, I only had, I think it was Essence Magazine's the editor in the spirit.
Yeah, the spirit.
That's the only thing that I had to go by, and it was a long journey, but it's very important for us to, number one, understand that we are individuals and we need to change our mindset so that we can get to fulfill our purpose. Because other people are relying on us for us to change our lives and then for them to change theirs. We are an example as to how to do things and live a better life, especially having a closer relationship with God. And that seems to be the center and focus on what you guys are doing in a way.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
I love that you bring that up, and it's amazing because, you're talking about why we got started and what our purpose was for our company is what I found was when I learned all these new things, I was like, I can't keep this to myself. Everybody has to know this. I was like, I didn't know this before. Why didn't I know this? Why didn't someone tell me? And I said, listen, it is going to be my purpose that everybody knows that they get to create their life. I was like, there's absolutely no way possible I'm going to let anybody not hear this. I'm like, so we're going to reach everyone. We're going to be on every continent. I'm going to make sure, and we focused on women. I said, I want every woman to know that they get to create their life by design. And I said, and it really does focus on your mindset, and what I love, and a lot of people will argue this may not be true, but taking responsibility for every single thing that's happened to you. And for me, that's so powerful. When you take responsibility for exactly where you are, knowing that where you are is a product of every decision you make, it's so powerful because it gives you the ability to change it. And that's where we kind of come from with Changing Minds Online. We're saying, listen, you can change your life, own where you are, work on your mindset, and you can create anything. And that's really what our vision comes from. And you're right, you have to share it. And you become that example for people.
Exactly. And everything that you're saying, I'm just listening to you and marveling at how aligned it is with SOAR, Step Out and Redesign. And I purposely selected the word redesign, well, because it fits in with the acronym, but also the reason I chose that is because we all come into the world with a blueprint. And that blueprint was designed by God. And in order for us to build the things that blueprint is intended for us to build, God gave us the resources. He gave us the gifts. He gave us the talent. He gave us everything that we needed in order to be able to use that blueprint and build our lives. However, sometimes we get sidetracked. Like I talked about, one of our core values is life transitions. You go through a lot of different things in your life. And you oftentimes can go through many, many years of your life before you begin to realize this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be doing something else. And you kind of, and that's why I like when you use the word design, that you can create your life by design, because you came into the world with a blueprint for that design.
Yeah, absolutely. And I truly believe that when you think about how God created the world, right? It was the spoken word. He said, let there be light. And I always tell people, look, if you have no idea what you want, you are not going to create the life of your dreams. Absolutely. How can you possibly expect to go there if you don't even know what you want? You don't know what your purpose is. So I always tell people to start off by just making a list of what you want. And it may seem really silly. It could just be a car. It could just be some sort of clothes.
So sorry, I wanted to stop you. You have all of a sudden you have this little white thing on your lip that's like really up. Yeah, let's see. It's almost off. Here, does this get it off? I don't know what it. I can't get it off. And it wasn't there before. There. Okay, got it. Okay. So I figured you'd be happier if I stopped you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so
We'll just resume and then we'll edit it out.
They'll edit. They'll edit.
okay.
Yeah, we'll edit it.
Do you remember what you said?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
you know, one of the things I always tell people is that if you don't know what you want, that you can't possibly create the life that you want to live. And I love how you're talking about like designing, and it's true, we really do get to design our life. See, I believe that we were born, you know, with a blueprint, with a purpose, but God
Yes.
also gave us choices.
Yes,
And that's what's so
absolutely.
amazing, is that we get a choice, we get a say in it. And you know, God created this world, the spoken word, let there be light, and there was light, right? Well, God lives within us now, and we have the same power that comes from Him, and it ultimately is His power, but we can speak it, right? And we get to proclaim and create anything we want in our life. So if we believe it, and if we say, you know what, I'm gonna run 30 marathons, the entire universe must shift so I can run 30 marathons. Like, that's how it works. If you say SOAR is going to be, you know, a #1 TV show, it's going to be a #1 TV show, because
Yes.
everything has to move because you proclaimed it and you said it. But we absolutely have the ability to create our life by design. And I always love that as a first exercise for teaching people how to get started with that.
See, and I like how you said the word for me was purpose. When you said your purpose. And a lot of people, they don't understand because the mindset is still stuck on, you know, doing what everybody else does, you know, which isn't their purpose.
Yeah.
And then it takes the drive and determination to break out of that mindset and say, okay, I'm going to sit down here and I'm going to write out what I really want for my life. So by you sharing purpose, you know, will give other people that insight, well, I have purpose in me. Let me sit down and figure out what my purpose is. It may not come just like this, but it's going to come once you take the time and discover what you actually want. And then the hard part comes in, change. Because not everybody likes change, but
That's
we
right.
all, people don't understand, we all must go through changes. Everything changes, nothing stays the
Absolutely.
same. So
Absolutely.
why not have that mindset to fulfill purpose and start changing?
Yeah, I love that. You know, I always say there's so many people who say all the time, I want to make my life better, but they resist change. And I ask them, how can you possibly expect to make your life better if you're afraid to change? And it's really true. And you know, I love how you talk about knowing what you want and your purpose. And I actually do separate those two things. You know, for me, a purpose is bigger than a wish list. Now, I have my list of things that I want, right? Places that I want to travel, things I want to purchase, skills I want to learn. And it's great to have those things because God wants us to be happy, right? Ask and you shall receive is what He says. And there's no blessing He doesn't want to give us. So we were born to be abundant, and God is abundant. So I absolutely believe we have the divine right to have all the things that we want. But in the same sense, a purpose is different for me. A purpose is our vision for why we do what we do and why we get up every morning. See, the difficulty is so many entrepreneurs, they go about what they're doing, but they're not clear on what their vision is. And 90% of entrepreneurs who start a business, they quit. They fail. And I would actually argue that the reason being is they don't know what their purpose is. So when things get difficult, they quit. See, for me, I actually write my purpose out twice a day. If anyone asks me at any given point, what's your purpose? What's your vision statement? You know, I can tell you my vision is all women are empowered and inspired in creating the life of their dreams by finding and living into their purpose. That's my purpose. I write it out every morning when I wake up and every night before I go to bed. So when things are hard, when I have a phone call I'm not excited about making or something I don't really feel like doing, because there's things we have to do, right, as business owners that are just not fun. There's certain sacrifices we make, and we do that because we're clear on what our purpose is. And I think it's so powerful to really be clear on what your purpose is. It's an amazing exercise, and I would recommend anyone, you know, who really is serious about taking their business and life to the next level, you have to have a vision statement. It's a requirement for success. And you should not only have it, but you need to know what it is.
Absolutely.
And for me, live it, breathe it, eat it, sleep it, write it out every single day of your life, and you will start to create it. It becomes part of your DNA.
Absolutely. And something else that you said earlier is you said that you got involved in the network marketing industry, and I am also, along with Gail, are involved in the network marketing industry as well. And I would say for me, it's the personal development. Like the company that we are associated with sort of identifies itself as, yes, we have this business, we have this product, but what we really are is a personal development company. And a lot of people may not be sure exactly what personal development is. And so maybe if you could define that, like all three of us at the table, we pretty much know what personal development is and understand that the personal development that you are on, that journey is going to be very different from the journey that I'm on, which is very different from the journey that Gail is on. But we're still focused on that goal of personally developing ourselves. We're doing it for different reasons. And the other thing that I wanted to comment on is when you talked about purpose being your why. There's a young woman in our network marketing company that made a speech at one time, and it was very powerful. And one of the things that she said was, if your why doesn't make you cry, then you need to kind of sit back and take a different look at that. And so maybe if you could comment a little bit more on some things from that perspective, like if I've never done personal development before and I'm listening to all of this and I'm intrigued by it, what are some of the things that I need to be doing to start my own personal development journey?
Yeah, I love that. Personal development, and it gets sometimes this bad rap, right?
Yes,
people think of self-help, and I forget that movie, the name of the movie, which is Bridget Jones' Diary, where she's crying with the tissues and and you in the self-help section of whatever bookstore.
Yes.
I don't know if that's the right movie. I'm not a movie person.
So.
Yeah,
but
it is.
Right, there we go. So, and you think about that. Personal development for me, it's very simple. Education.
Yes.
It's really just education.
Yes.
It's about learning new skills. And really mindset, it's a skill. It's a muscle that you develop. The same way I train my muscle at the gym, I train my mindset every day to be focused on what I'm creating, to be focused on abundance, to really, choose powerfully and be intentional. But it's really education. So my personal development journey might look very different than your personal development journey. Because we all have different set of skills and we have different things we want to do. So whereas my business partner, Dr. Finn, she's phenomenal at social media, and she does all these phenomenal personal development as far as social media is concerned. She went to the Scope Summit and she went to all these different things that I personally wouldn't be interested in, and I don't do those things. I go to my own. Tomorrow I'm going to be committed to going to a day, and it's very much a mindset personal development seminar. So it doesn't have to be the same, and there's no right or wrong personal development. But the more that we grow our mind, the more that we educate ourselves, the really more we grow as a person, and the more we can do.
Yes.
So I think that's really important. And I love how you're talking about, your why and your purpose.
Yes.
And absolutely, your purpose must be really clear. I always say this, I said, if your purpose doesn't include other people, it's not going to be strong enough. There's things that we want. And yes, we have, temporary things. So my marathon's 30 by 30. Part of my purpose in my business right now, my personal, goals, and my personal reason I'm putting in extra hours and doing extra work is because it's expensive to do that. It costs a lot of money to.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm thinking about that. But ultimately, right, if things get really, really challenging, and that's not enough, and right, that's going to end. It's going to be over. So your purpose can't be to get something. Now that might be a really powerful driving force for a short period of time. That's not really your purpose. It's just a goal, and that you're using your business to get to that goal, and that's fine. But the other part about it is that if you're, if that's all you're focused on, you're going to be creating from desperation, and people will see it and they will not be attracted to you. They're going to be running away from you, especially if you're a professional network marketer like we are.
Yes,
right? The last thing you want to do is to, prospect people from a place of desperation. They're just going to run away as fast as they can.
Exactly.
So, but if you have a purpose, it must be in contribution. I truly believe you don't matter if you're not in contribution. in my vision, it says all women, right, are empowered and inspired. Well, guess what? I'm a woman, so I'm included in that.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about myself. I get taken care of because I'm incorporated into my vision, but it's bigger than me. It's bigger than just about me. And to me, that's what it means to have an abundant mindset. Just believing that you're going to be taken care of, that when you make the world better, that you're going to get to live in a better world, that when you're creating abundant, you get to live in a more abundant world. So that's for me what it comes down to, and that's really for me the difference. Because let me tell you, being an entrepreneur, and you know this, we can all speak to this, there were so many challenges, there's so many times where you just want to give up and quit.
Oh, yes.
I mean, and let
Yes.
me tell you something, I carry with me my notebook, it's in my car now, but I carry it with me. My vision statement is written out there. Do you know how many times a day that I require looking at that notebook and say, okay, this is what I'm committed to creating?
Yes.
Because it gets really, really challenging. It really does. And you must be clear on your purpose. And it must be bigger than just about you or about getting you to a temporary place.
Exactly. And
So
I think, I'm sorry, go
Your
ahead.
purpose is also a passion.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I tell people when I'm coaching them as far as, them wanting to start a business, I'm like, make sure that it's something that you really want and got a passion with. Because the one thing you don't want is another job.
Mm-hmm.
You want something that you're passionate about, something that's going to get you going in the morning, something that you really enjoy and be able to make a difference. I like how you said including other people, doing things for other people. And that's what your passion is about, helping other people. And that is something that I've never really talked about because it's always there anyway, helping people.
Mm-hmm.
But I like how you said you want to include people, you want to do something for people, and that's your purpose. Your light is shining.
Yeah, thank you.
Your light is shining.
And not
Thank
only
you.
that, just to kind of piggyback off of that, in the garden, what God created was first a relationship between him and Adam, and then that relationship carried into the relationship between Adam and Eve. So right from the very beginning, relationships was a part of how we were supposed to live.
Yes.
And we kind of live sometimes today like in our own little bubble over here or our own little silo over here, but that's not really how God intended. And one of the things that I love about the internet and social media and all of that is how we can
Yes,
just
and
connect to
connected.
one another. Like you said, you worked with somebody for a year or
Yeah,
so
and we've
before you
met once,
actually
and
met them.
We've now been almost 2 years working together, and we've met once.
Right.
And
right.
this is our first time
Yeah,
meeting
exactly.
in person.
But we've been talking
Absolutely.
back and forth since the
Yeah.
Motherhood Dreams and Success book came out.
Yes.
So yeah, we're just about out of time, and
Okay.
I wanted to kind of wrap it up a little bit. So what are those, that one last nugget of information that you want to share, and particularly about how people can listen to Changing Minds online?
Okay, well, thank you for asking. So if you want to find us on social media, we're on Facebook. We're really on everywhere. Changing Minds Online is our handle for everything. But the best way to be in contact with us is changingmindsonline.com. It's www.changingmindsonline.com. We are actually giving away right now for the next week or two. We just put out a book on branding and social media. And we've been observing some of the people that we look at on our friends and our profiles, and I said, you know what? So many people don't know how to brand themselves that we decided to give this book away for free. So if you go onto our website and you join our VIP list, you can actually download that book for free right now.
I think I need to do that.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So changingmindsonline.com, join our VIP list. And what I really want to leave everybody with is just to let everyone know, you are so powerful, and I truly believe that you can create your life by design. Believe in yourself, believe in the power of God within you, and it will happen. And that's really that first choice, that you take that first step to believe in you, believe in the power of God. You have greatness in you, and you will absolutely live and create the life of your dreams.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for having me here
Oh,
today.
absolutely.
Welcome. Nice
So-
meeting you, Jessica.
Nice meeting you too.
Yeah, so we've just heard wonderful words of wisdom and just sharing her journey from Jessica Leichtweisz, and I'm so glad that we were able to connect like this, and we must do it again.
Absolutely.
So to our audience, make sure you go check out Changing Minds online. and get that VIP membership so that
Yes.
you can get that free book and all of that. So that pretty much ends our show for right now, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Bye.